Backstage, Rock the Bells.
Yeah.
This is Jizza.
What up?
If you don't know that, you might not be hip-hop.
We go back. We did a few interviews together.
No doubt.
Yeah.
36 Chambers is one of maybe the greatest hip-hop album of all time. Talk about how it came together, how all 9 guys came together like a perfect star, a perfect constellation, and made this amazing album.
Well, it was just a spark. I mean, RZA had an idea in his mind. You know, we were all MCs since we were young.
What was RZA's original idea you just mentioned?
Well, originally, RZA was signed to Tommy Boy Records.
Right.
As he was going to come out as Wu-Tang Clan on Tommy Boy. It was just him. And I don't know whoever he would have had along with him. But I was on Coachella at the time. Things didn't work for him over there. Didn't work for me at Coachella. And Method Man, Raekwon, you know, a lot of them were like childhood buddies we grew up with. You know, those our brothers from way back. They were doing their MCing thing. They were rhyming. I was in Brooklyn with Dirty. And RZA and the rest was in Shaolin. I was in Brooklyn, Dirty and Master Killer. And RZA just decided to, you know, put some money together, go in the studio, do a track, and form Wu-Tang Clan. And that's how it popped off.
And the original concept was what? Was we're going to make music that represents who we are from the street and who we are from loving martial arts.
I don't think, like, as far as how I go into it on songs, I'll just hear a beat and go in. I don't think it was like we had an initial plan. I mean, I don't know what was in RZA's head at the time, but he said he had a 5-year plan after Wu-Tang dropped. But we were just going in to lay a verse on this beat, protect your neck, and whatever it came out to be is what happened. And that's how it happened. Right. We just went in and we did vocals and he chopped it up and cut it. We put this song out and it got a buzz. We had a couple of homeboys who looked out for us, like Kid Capri and that we had relationships with back then, Kid Capri and Mr. C, you know, big up to them, you know, who supported Wu from day one. And, you know, with the help of them being on radio, it helped launch the song and it spread out to other stations. And here we are right now.
Thanks. I'm at Rock the Bells. Slick Rick is on stage right now. DJ Premier was on before. We're going to go to the artist area right now, see if we can find anybody back there, because Lauryn Hill's hanging out, Snoop Dogg's coming on later, Tribe Called Quest around here somewhere, then KRS-One's around here somewhere. I don't see any superstars here right now, but there's a future MC right here rocking out. We're going to be here all day at Rock the Bells, checking it out. This is the hottest festival going on right now. Speaking of new MCs, we caught up with Yellow Wolf, an Alabama country boy trying to put his state on the hip-hop map. I'm with Yellow Wolf on the Paid Dues stage.
Yes, sir.
You're a country guy from Alabama, and I just wonder what made you think, I could do that?
Well, the first time I wrote a record, I was just emulating Ice Cube, you know, doing some, you know, doing what I thought was the right thing to do, you know what I'm saying?
Hey,
I was
that's
just
never
a kid,
wrong.
you know? And then it developed into, I started learning how to do metaphors and just rhyming, period, just like fundamental. And then eventually evolving into, you know, where I'm at now, and it's just telling a story about my culture, you know, lyrically, and putting that on my back. You know, I'm from Alabama, you know, I'm a working class, blue collar, you know, rapper who grew up, you know, in and out of apartment homes, you know, in a trailer park, and, you know, and these things that I saw growing up, I just wanted to expose that, you know, because hip-hop really lives everywhere. Like in my little neighborhood in Walnut Park in Gadsden, you'll see a big truck riding by with mud thrown all over it, you know, just a bunch of country white boys, but they'll be playing UGK, you know.
You're representing your culture. You're talking about where you come from. Majority hip-hop fans are black, urban, New York, LA, Atlanta, whatever. Do you find that the traditional hip-hop fan wants to hear you and hear that message and hear your story, or are you bringing in new people who are maybe listening to something else and find you a bridge into hip-hop?
I think it's a little bit of both, you know. I think that they're, you know, true school hip-hop fans appreciate the way I approach a record, you know, and the styles and, you know, the delivery. And then there are a new group of kids who I feel like they feel they're being spoken for. You know what I'm saying? A voice that they haven't heard yet, something that they can closely relate to.
You feel extra pressure being a white boy in hip hop?
Nah, not really, man. I mean, when you're a white boy, you know, you don't really be thinking about it that much. I woke up this morning and I was a white boy just like yesterday.
Backstage at Rock the Bells with hip hop royalty Raekwon the Chef. You guys are doing Enter the Woo, the whole album. Take me back to the making of the album and why all the stars aligned to make it such a classic that blew everybody's minds. Nobody knew who any of you guys were. Nobody knew where Staten Island was. And you guys created a classic that changed hip-hop.
I mean, well, you know, first it come from Staten Island. It's a technique, man. You know, this is something we've been doing since we was kids. When we got an opportunity to make a great album, everybody put their input in and just came with the heat, you know? At the end of the day, how I look at it, man, is just, you see 9 MCs when you see Wu-Tang. You see 9 passionate MCs. When that album was being made, we wanted to show and prove to the world that, yo, we're gonna make a statement. We're gonna let y'all know about a place called Staten Island where probably a lot of y'all haven't been. RZA was at the top of his game as far as production. He always wanted to make sure everybody understand that he's a producer that loves hardcore music. So when you get together with some hardcore individuals, he just started brainstorming and that album was born, you know what I mean? So to be here today, getting it in and really saying that, yo, we doing this album again, it kind of takes me back into the days.
You got us here with us. Yo, what were you guys going for artistically, creatively, when you just started to make the album? What were you dreaming of?
I felt we was trying to capture the streets, what we was going through as, you know, we was on the block. You know what I mean? We was block dudes, man. We came from, this is a real life story. When Ray said we grew up on the crime side, that's a real loop. The story he told in the beginning, that's a true story. So we basically try to capture what we was going through growing up on our part of the block, which is Park Hill projects, and we brought our essence to the world. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, the thing I love about the album too is that you guys were very street and very brilliant and took yourselves very seriously and took hip hop very seriously. And it's an amazing, like, this whole just stew of that, of brilliant guys who knew the crime side, who knew the street, and knew how to express it in an amazing way. Because a lot of the rhymes, we didn't know what you were saying, and we still loved it. You had to listen to it 20 times to figure out the slang.
Slang and knowledge mixed together.
Well, some people tell me they just getting it right now.
Yeah.
After years, they're like, wait, I just caught that line you just said right now. I said, that's a good part of art. Because you look at Van Gogh's paintings, you might learn something 20 years, 30 years down the line, like, oh, stop, he painted a masterpiece.
What happened while you were making it? Because I know with 9 brothers in and out of the studio, you know, whatever's going on in your personal life, it's take me to like the True Hollywood stories backstage. What happened when you're making it?
Brief. I was going in and out of jail. I wasn't going in and out of incarceration. I just happened to come down on a violation to get my two little darts off. The Lord, you know what I mean? Allah blessed me. I said, yo, it's time for you to go down and do what you got to do. And I came down, and believe it or not, I only stayed home for 2 weeks. And I went right back up again.
You know, we came together, it was a kamikaze thought with a great plan. And we all knew that we was powerful MCs. You know, RZA, he kind of was doing a little bit more than us because he was constantly focused on making music. At that time, we was just, like he said, in the streets, in the crime world. And he just pulled us out of that situation and kind of like matched the music that he felt we was going through. So when we made the album, it was just represent. That's all I kept hearing. We're gonna make a statement and we're gonna give them the best music that we feel is representing where we from, which is Staten Island.
At Rock the Bells, anything and everything can and surely will happen. Your man KRS-One is over at the VIP tent signing autographs for his book, but it's getting a little weird. Let's check it out.